Good morning and welcome to Travels with Sheila at home in self-isolation. Going through all the old pics and trying to find things to do at home, I thought you may be interested in 3 different, shall we call them vid pics, of trips that we took BC before camcorder. And I think these are the top 3 on my list of extreme rigorous touring. Now, none of these 3 trips that you can certainly avoid for the rest of your life without any particular regrets or hindsight is 2020 have nothing to do with the people who live there or with some of the sights that we saw. It's just that they are so rigorous and in a way dangerous. And at least 2 of them are on the list right now that most governments say to avoid. They're either level 4 or a level 5 as far as terrorism and them not being safe. The first trip that I'm going to show you the pics of and tell you about as we go through it is Yemen in 1998. When you say Yemen today, Americans at least, you think of terrorism and the USS Cole. But most people do not realize that Yemen is ancient and famous. Noah's sons referred to Yemen as a land of milk and honey. It's the land of the Queen of Sheba. Originally, the land was called Saba, and the Queen of Sheba controlled the southern part of the trade route, and King Solomon controlled the northern part of the trade route. There are ruins, there are fantastical sights to see, and it also involves an extreme desert crossing, of which I will talk a little more as we go through the pictures. Out of the 3 places, Yemen had the best food, the nicest accommodations. Believe it or not, there was even a Taj Hotel. So on that point, it was number 1. And incredible souvenirs, the things I come home with. Is that something else? A little Yemeni headdress? Let's delve into Yemen. Yemen has the frankincense route, established as far back as the 15th century BC, to bring the fragrant resin that was valued for ritual and perfume use by the ancients from southeastern Yemen to Egypt and all over the Mediterranean. We began what turned out to be a 13-plus-hour crossing of the Ramlat as-Sabatian Desert. It began at 3:30 in the morning. It was all over sand. There is no air conditioning, which means that we sucked up sand the whole day. Very, very lovely. And of most importance, this is Bedouin country. There were kidnappings by tribes, and you must know there is no law, no government law in the desert. It is Bedouin countries. There were incidents of kidnapping of Westerners by the Bedouins, but you had to hire armed Bedouin guards and drivers for the desert crossing. That was the only way to stay safe. And there's nothing like sitting in a Jeep for 13 plus hours while a teenager sits behind me holding an AK-47 as my guard, and me thinking, what is going to stop this young man from blowing my head off, splattering my brains on the windshield if he feels like that might be fun? Shibam is nicknamed the Manhattan of the desert, and the old wall town of mud brick skyscrapers just rises up out of the desert. The tallest house has 8 stories, and the rest are almost as high. There are 500 skyscrapers squeezed into a tight space. The Yemeni people are very warm and friendly. The men believe in being well armed and always wear traditional jambias, those curved daggers, and either carry an AK-47 or rifle. I don't know if you've ever heard of cot, but the highlight of the drivers and the guides' day would be in the afternoon when we were done with our travels, and they would gather in a room and would chew cot. Why? Because cot is a stimulant that makes a person feel alert, happy, and talkative. Did you know that Sana'a, which is Yemen's capital, is 7,200 feet high in altitude? It was interesting that passing through Wadi Diwan to Al-Wukala, we traced the same route taken by Freya Stark, the passionate nomad. She was not only one of the first Western women to travel through Yemen and its deserts, but often traveled solo into areas that few people had been. We traveled through the Wadi, which is a water course, dry when there's no rain, for over 5 hours. It's interesting watching our driver, who sat on the roof at times to navigate. I hope you enjoy all these commentaries. All of these are hysterically funny. In hindsight is 20/20 only. It was not funny when we were doing them. Thanks so much for your views and your comments. Love hearing from you. Love answering your questions. Best to you. Well, what the heck? You only live once.